stay in a hotel downtown. They can bus you down there. You get the hotel. You get to see the fireworks. This is a really good way to do it. You don't have to be down in the streets with all the people. You'll be up in your nice room at the hotel, waterfront hotel.
I've tried to buy those hotel rooms. You can't get them the day after the 4th of July. You can't get them for the next 4th. So this is the way you're going to do it,
This is the way to do it. So June 24th, that's the thing. If you've never been to the fireworks and want to do it but don't want to do the crowds and everything else,
you
do
don't
it
have
this
to
way.
worry about parking. It's a bus trip. And
810-229-2935. Get hold of Leslie, and you can do either of these trips or both. Right? There you go. All right, so I'm going to bring Tony back on, and forgive me, Tony, for getting you started. I wasn't watching the time. Shame on me. But go ahead, Tony. Start over again. What you wanted to talk about on the Michigan gas tax?
Earlier this week, driving to work, I was listening to another station, and the governor was being interviewed. She made the comment that if anybody else had another plan or a better plan, bring it to me. Everything's on the table. And then I heard later in the day she said the very same thing on another Detroit area AM station. So later on in the day, I was listening for a while to Trucker Randy, and he was talking about the gas tax, all that nonsense. So I just went ahead and I texted him and let him know of what the governor said on the other station, and said, do you think Patrick Colbeck would be willing to go back to Lansing again and present his plans to help with all of this road repair and, the financing of it and so on? He had a pretty solid plan that didn't call for any increase of any sort. And Trucker Randy texted me back and said, he responded to it on the air and said that because you guys probably know him, he would talk to Patrick Colbeck and see if he'd be interested. I just wanted to pose that thought to you guys, see what you thought.
Yeah, I would love it. And what I would tell people is get on social media, your Facebook, and your Twitter and your Gab and the rest of these, and push that. Say Patrick Colbeck has a plan, and tag Whitmer on it, because you know what? Pat had a great plan. Take a look at it. Use parts of it. Use all of it. Do something. Anything except hitting us with 45 cents a gallon. That's outrageous.
Yes, it is.
I can see this not working because of the what's the guy, Arlen? What's his name?
Meeks.
Yeah, Arlen Meeks. I mean, he had shut down Pat already in the last few months of Pat's holding office. So I don't know how much sway he would have with the current legislature. Certainly none with the current
leadership.
Administration. And then maybe he can do something through his Michigan grassroots coalition. Yeah. And maybe there's some way there they can make that a platform for them.
Yeah.
At this point in time, he's a private citizen.
Yeah.
So why not go as a private citizen and approach the leaders in government with a plan?
Oh, I like that. I'm just saying that there's some enmity. Is what
I know.
Well, yeah, and what it takes, Tony, is exactly that. It takes us to push her and them to listen to Pat for a change. Listen to him. At least consider it.
When Tony said, Whitmer said that she was in charge and she had a plan, who did that remind you of?
I'm not going AOC on that.
I'm in charge. If you have a better plan, you coming up. Until then, I'm the boss.
Oh, man. All right. Well, great comments, Tony. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Let's take a call from Donna in Whitmore Lake. Wants to talk about Michigan roads. Donna, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Thanks for taking me on. Just to tag on to what the last caller said, I've been calling, and so have a lot of other callers, been calling Gretchen's office to give her the hint to get together and sit down and have coffee with Patrick Colbeck, because he has the right ideas and he's a finance genius. So they already knew about other callers, because they said, oh, yeah, a lot of people have been calling her office.
Whoa.
Well, that's good.
Okay, we have an audience. Folks, you heard Donna, you heard Todd. Call your state representatives, your state senators.
And Gretchen Whitmer's office.
Yes,
just
exactly.
Say, hey, don't reinvent the wheel. If there's already a good plan out there, at least take a look at it, consider it, look at some of the options before you hit us with another 45 cents a gallon.
Right. And I told her, the one who was taking the message, she said she wants to hear from everybody, and she's open to ideas, but I said, you guys got to sit down and put your political differences aside and just listen, because he can help.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I'm glad you got active, Donna. I really appreciate it.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
Have a great one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Take care. Yeah, it's going to take action on our parts. If you don't want to pay $45, for me, I did the math just a few minutes ago. It's $700 a year for me, based on what I'm driving currently. $700. It's a big chunk of change for me.
Like we were talking about before the show, if you get reimbursed for mileage, if like you drive for your company and you get reimbursed for mileage, and they give you like maybe 52 cents a gallon because that's the federal rate. Well, the feds aren't looking at Michigan gas taxes when they make that rate.
Right.
So the mileage, you're not going to get the mileage back from driving for your job.
Yeah. Let's take a call from Gary in Hazel Park. Gary, welcome to the show.
Hey, gentlemen. Holier than thou, Gretchen Whitmer is not going to listen to nobody. She's got a plan. She knows better than everybody else, and she's going to do what she wants to do. Everything else is just a bunch of happy talk. She's a Democrat. She's not going to listen to a Republican.
Yeah, it sums up what I was saying. I think, hey, you going to Egypt?
Yeah, book me a flight. Yeah, that's right. I'm watching The Mummy right now.
All right, Gary. Well, thanks for bringing me down. But at least you brought me back, right? All right. Anything else, Gary?
Oh, hey, we got to, like everybody's been saying, we have to fight like it's no tomorrow. The very structure, the future of this country is at stake. We have no time anymore. It's now or never. Live or let live, or whatever. We got to fight like we have nothing else to lose.
Yeah. We only have 12 years to the end of civilization as we know it. So, yeah.
That's exactly right. I mean, do everything you can. Everything.
All right. Great call, Gary. Appreciate it. Let's take a call from Tom in Detroit. Wants to talk about the gas tax. Tom, go ahead.
Yeah, just real quick. I think I got the whole thing wrapped up. They even showed this on the broadcast TV news, where Gretchen Whitmer and Bill Schuette in the debates, she was asked if about the 20-cent increase in the gas tax, and she's going, "Oh, that's ridiculous."
Yeah, we played
Okay,
that.
Derek, play it again for Tom, who wasn't listening earlier and dialed in late.
Yeah, hang in there, Tom. We're going to play it for you. Go ahead. He doesn't have it.
Oh,
okay.
Well, yeah, but don't be silly. What's wrong with you people?
Yeah, I mean, really, 20 cents was too much for her, and now it's 45. So it is pretty pathetic.
Well, one's before the election.
Now all she has to do is call up the House of Representatives and say, "Hey, draft this up for me," and get it through the Senate. I don't think it's a deal by any means.
Yeah. All right, great call, Tom. I appreciate it.
Okay, thanks.
Take care.
Well, one was before the election and the other's after. Now she's in. She can do it.
Well,
she's the boss.
Isn't that what Democrats do? Mm-hmm. Promise, and then completely reverse everything. They never keep. It's crazy. This whole as Gary was saying. You know what, folks? This is what you get when you vote Democrat. Did you expect anything different? Did anyone really think she was gonna fix the damn roads without jacking our wallets?
I didn't think she was going to be a different type of Democrat, that's for sure. Not given the crew she went in with and not what they're up to.
Yeah.
The Attorney General going after Trump on the wall.
Exactly. So as we talked to Tim last week, we saw what the Democrats are doing. They passed another gun trying to take away our guns and register guns and do everything else. And this week they went after H.R. 1, which is an election reform, all right? And what was the big thing in there? I mean, they put a bunch of stuff in there to make it look, feel good, sound good, whatever, but they're going to automatically go for
is this the $25 a person to a candidate? Okay.
Oh, yes, yeah. It was all part of it. That's all part of it. So elaborate on that part. If you want to.
It's what I heard. It's I don't have all the details, but supposedly everybody gets $25 from the government to give to the candidate of their choice. Yeah. Are you kidding me?
Let's just spend
what happened
some more.
to? Can we keep $2 of your taxes to give to a candidate? Now we're going to give you $25 to give to a candidate. After all, it's their money. It's free money, right? They just
So, Derek, you got track 2 ready? Let's listen to Crazy Nancy as she goes off on H.R. 1, which she thinks is the be-all and end-all to solve our political problems.
H.R. 1 restores the people's faith that government works for the public interest, the people's interest, not the special interests.
Says,
Let us be very clear. This is a fight that we're taking a vote on today, but it is a fight we will not end until we win it, because it is a very fight for the Constitution. It honors the vision of our founders, gives hope to the American people that their interests are served.
What Constitution was she talking about? I'm confused on that one. It's not the one I learned.
It's funny how they always want to bring in the Constitution when they think they can twist it in a manner that befits their agenda. Right?
That's why they refuse to teach it in schools.
The biggest part of this bill is to automatic voter registration. So you go in to get your driver's license. Whether you're a citizen or not, they're going to register you to vote.
Yep.
And they've already had another vote saying we want illegals to vote.
And a pre-printed ballot.
Yeah. Folks, if the agenda isn't clear enough for you, let me tell you, they want open borders to bring as many people in as possible to replace you. You are being replaced by refugees and illegals and other immigrants. That's what Democrats want. And you want to know why? Because you're too smart. They figured out that you, the American voter, the American taxpayer, the American worker, has figured out that the Democrats aren't doing anything for you, and so you're starting to turn on them. So what's their...
And elect Trump.
Elect Trump. So what do they want to do? Let's bring in uneducated people from around the world to replace you Americans.
And give them $25 each to vote for somebody. To give to a campaign contribution while they're voting for that person. Yeah. I'm starting to see a plan here, Gary.
This is what the Democratic Party is trying to do. If you haven't figured it out, please open your eyes.
I'm shocked, I tell you.
That's why she wants open borders. They don't want fences. I can put on my tinfoil hat and say, that time she spent with the ex-president of Mexico, who was getting money from drug cartels, is paying Nancy as well. That's my thought. That's just my opinion, right?
Well, she gets her Botox across the border. It's like it's smuggled across the border. She doesn't pay anything for it.
This is what the Democrats do. Let's be honest. They are replacing you as Americans, And frankly, I'm in the auto industry, and I see legal immigrants coming in all the time. And there are people from around the world.
Not just all the time.
Yeah. They're
overwhelmingly,
right?
Yeah.
We've got tons of Americans who may or may not be qualified. They want to say they're not qualified. That's where we're bringing in people from India or Africa or Korea or wherever. These people are making $60,000 when they should probably be making about $100,000.
But they
keep using these visas
for more money because they like the green card, and so these huge corporations that you and I have worked for, they'll hire these people because they'll work for less and they won't rock the boat.
Yep.
I knew a guy, my wife and I knew a guy, he worked at a company we both worked for as an accountant, and he was from, I believe, Nigeria, and he brought his family over and he's on a green card, and he was living in the basement of a church. The church was putting him up because he couldn't afford to live anywhere else on what they were paying him. But he couldn't go anywhere else. He needed a sponsor. He had to have another job before he could leave that job that would sponsor him on his green card. It was like indentured servitude. The guy was virtually a slave.
Yeah.
Now, it's not true everywhere, but you see that to some degree, and it drives down Americans' wages.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it is.
You can't tell me you couldn't find another accountant.
Yeah, and this isn't just Democrats. This is Republicans pulling this nonsense, too. It's the elite, the global elite. They're there. They've got their claws in Democrats and Republicans, and they're saying, you know what, let's bring in these cheaper labor people who will work and do things that Americans want too much money for. That's what they're saying. You're not worth it, American.
It's
so
not the work Americans won't do. It's the Americans don't want to do for that low wage.
Exactly right. And that's what's happening on the low end of the scale, too. Dishwashing jobs, server jobs, farm jobs. Those are all jobs that kids when we were kids, we would take.
Thank God my grandson is doing that, too. He's got enough inertia, enough guts to do that, He's doing the job that the immigrants won't do.
Yeah, even in the trades, right? We can all remember there was a time when a painter, a drywaller, a carpenter could make a living, raise a family, buy a house. You can't do that anymore in a lot of instances because we've had so many immigrants, legal and illegal, coming over, driving down the wages for the landscaping companies, for concrete.
Oh, well, actually, Trump came out last week and he said something about, and we're going to have more legal immigration. It's going to be huge. It's going to be, better and everything. And a lot of conservatives were upset with him about that. And I understand that, this is what I heard, that he actually listens to Lou Dobbs. Lou Dobbs is an advisor of his, which is really kind of a nice thought.